Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, breaking news. Oscar De La Hoya will be making a comeback. And he will be fighting July the 3rd. This has probably shocked a lot of people. Now, it's not so shocking because there were rumors about him fighting previously. But I always thought that maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it's just all talk. You know, he talked about fighting Golovkin and he talked about coming back, having the itch and having the fire again. And I was like, Oscar De La Hoya is a very wealthy man. He's got a lot of money. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a promoter now. And even though I know he's lost a lot of fighters over the years, but still, he promotes some good fighters. He's got Munguia, he's got Ryan Garcia, he's got Virgil Ortiz. He's still got some good, I believe, is Oscar Valdez promoted by him? I'm not sure if Valdez is promoted by him. I don't know if he has Valdez, but he still has some good young fighters on his stable. I know he's lost Canelo, which obviously was a big hit to his business because, Canelo was the biggest star in the sport. And now he no longer promotes the biggest star in the sport. Now, however, Oscar De La Hoya has always been kind of like a weird character, He's always done a lot of strange things. A lot of people criticize De La Hoya a lot. They criticize how sometimes he messed up in big fights, some of the stuff that he did outside the ring. But this guy was a formidable fighter. Oscar De La Hoya was a formidable fighter. I think people forget how good he was in around his prime. This is a guy that was literally walking through divisions and battering guys. And when he first came to 147, that's when he started, struggling a little bit. But before that, he was literally walking through divisions. He was a formidable fighter, De La Hoya. There's no doubt about it. But, you must question what he's doing because obviously he's old now, and for him to come back, who's he going to be fighting? He's obviously announced a date. So I'm pretty sure they must have some opponents in mind. Who, I seen Maidana training. Is that a potential opponent? Because there was rumors before that Oscar De La Hoya may fight Marcus Maidana. Marcus Maidana retired in 2014 after the Floyd second fight. Is that a fight that potentially could happen? I think if Oscar is coming back, I don't know what you guys think of it. I would love to see him fight Floyd Mayweather. I think that would be a good fight. Floyd is 43, 44. He hasn't fought for 5-6 years competitively. His last fight was against Andre Berto. When was that? In 2015. So we're talking about a good 6 years. Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya has been even longer than that. But I just think that fight would sell, and I think the fight would generate a lot of money. And obviously, Oscar De La Hoya would get his rematch that he wanted with Mayweather for so long, and unfortunately didn't get it. Maybe Mayweather would take that fight because he'd look at Oscar De La Hoya as easy work, which I think he should be, because I still think Floyd keeps himself relatively good shape. And to say Oscar keeps himself in good shape, I think Oscar's been retired a lot longer. And Oscar, when he was young, relied a lot on his speed. And at 40s, late 40s, I don't think he's going to be able to. I don't think. Is Oscar 50? Oscar might be 50. I know he's late. I'm pretty sure he's late 40s. Or might even be 50, if I'm honest with you. But I think he's definitely late 40s. So I just don't know what's giving Oscar the itch, but I don't mind it. I want to see the fight. I want to see him fight. I don't have a problem with it. I think it brings a lot of attention to the sport. I think Oscar De La Hoya is a legend. He'll always be a legend. Irrespective of what people say about him, irrespective of what some fans say about him. Some of the stuff that he's done in and outside the ring. For me, he's a legend. For me, he's always going to be a legend. I think him against Floyd Mayweather makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of financial sense. Makes a lot of money as well. Let's see if they get it on. But what do you guys make of Oscar De La Hoya's return? Are you not that interested? Are you interested? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Listen, whenever a guy comes back at that age, you always have to question. Why he's coming back. Is it because of the money? Is it because of the itch to fight again? I think with Oscar, it's just the itch to fight, because I don't think he's short of money. If I'm honest with you, I think he's got plenty of money. I think it's more to the itch to fight. What brings Floyd Mayweather back? Floyd Mayweather likes making a lot of money. So personally, I think if they can get a Floyd Mayweather fight on, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind seeing Oscar De La Hoya against Floyd Mayweather. I think that's a good fight. I think it's a good money fight for sure. It makes a lot of sense. Makes both guys millions. Oscar De La Hoya gets to have a rematch. Floyd gets to have a fight which is pretty low risk, high reward, because I can't see Oscar De La Hoya beating him, because Floyd, like I said, retired not that long ago, although it was 6 years, but not that long ago. He's still been doing some training camp, still been fighting a little, whereas Oscar De La Hoya has just been completely inactive. So for me, that's a relatively easy fight for Floyd. And I wouldn't mind seeing that. To be honest, listen, wouldn't want to see Oscar De La Hoya fight anyone active or anyone young, because that would be not good. Not good at all. And plus, what weight is he going to be fighting at? What weight is he going to fight? I'm pretty sure he can't make welter. Or is he going to fight at 154? To be honest, like, I don't know. I might even fight middleweight. He was talking about fighting Golovkin not so long ago. So can he make light middleweight? Can he make welter? I think he's going to be light middleweight. But maybe he can't even make light middleweight anymore. He might have to move up to middleweight. Who knows? But I know there's going to be a lot of critics, and there's going to be a lot of people saying that this is bad for the sport. You've got these old men coming back and fighting and on pay-per-view, and apparently it's going to be on pay-per-view, which I listen. Oscar De La Hoya is a huge star, like Mike Tyson. Obviously not as big as Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson did 1.6 million pay-per-view buys on pay-per-view against Roy Jones. If Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd Mayweather, how many pay-per-view buys would that do? That'd do stupid pay-per-view buys. This is why I'm saying I think that fight makes a lot of sense for all parties, because I think that would make Mayweather a huge amount of money, the money that he wants. I think the fight would be seen as more credible than Mayweather fighting some YouTuber or some next guy, like a kickboxer or whatever, like he did last time with Tenzin. And he'd be fighting a fellow boxer who would be a low risk fight for him. Let's be honest, because Oscar De La Hoya is not going to beat Floyd Mayweather now. And it's a big money fight, because a lot of people would watch that fight. A lot of people would tune in for that fight. That fight does well over 1 million pay-per-view buys. If that fight was to be made. Easy does over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Easy. Oscar De La Hoya is a huge name in his own right, and Floyd Mayweather is a superstar as well. So we're talking about two legends colliding with a global appeal and following. Like, Oscar De La Hoya is huge. He has a huge following, especially across the Mexican-American. He has a huge Mexican-American fan base. I think that's huge, man. I think that's a huge fight. I think they should look to make that. I think Floyd Mayweather, rather than fighting any YouTubers and fighting some like kickboxer or whatever, I think he should fight Oscar De La Hoya. I think it makes a lot of sense financially. I think it will bring a lot of eyes on the sport. And I would be happy with that fight. A lot of people complain about these type of events, these type of fights, but I don't have a problem with that. You've got two guys at the similar kind of, they're retired basically, but they're willing to fight, exhibition, or in Oscar's case, he might be wanting to fight a proper fight. And I'm pretty sure Floyd wouldn't mind fighting a proper fight against Oscar De La Hoya, because like I said, he's not very high risk right now, Oscar De La Hoya, for Floyd. Even though Floyd has been out of the ring and been inactive and retired, Floyd's more active than Oscar. Let's be honest. Floyd's a lot more active. So Floyd would be favoured in that fight massively. And he should win. So, but I'm just talking, I think a fight between him and Oscar would make a lot of sense for me. I just think it makes a lot of sense. Both guys make a huge amount of money. They're both retired, so it would be fair. I don't think it's dangerous because they wouldn't be fighting a young, fresh guy. They're two guys at similar ages. Floyd's obviously younger than Oscar, but still similar ages, similar stages in their career, both promoters now. I think it makes for a huge event, and I reckon they would outdo virtually every single fight in boxing today. I think the money would be huge for Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather. I think it would be huge. I think it'd do crazy numbers. That's why I'm suggesting I think Floyd should definitely think about that. If he, I'm pretty sure Oscar would love to fight him. I think Oscar should call out Floyd Mayweather, say, I'm coming back, Floyd, fight me July 3rd. I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It's a huge fight between two retired legends. So I would like to see that. I don't know what you guys think. I wouldn't mind seeing Floyd against Oscar. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Maybe Oscar's come back because of that. Who knows? Who knows? I would love to see it. I would love to see it. You see, Oscar against any active fighter, I wouldn't like to see that because he could get damaged and hurt. But Floyd Mayweather's never even in his prime was a big puncher. And also Floyd Mayweather's past it as well. You can say he's past his best, past his prime fighter himself. So it makes the fight intriguing, and they're two boxers with huge profiles, big names. They were great fighters in their day. It makes for a very interesting fight. It makes for a very interesting spectacle, and you just want to see how it plays out. Now, Floyd against Conor McGregor or those type of guys, they're not going to beat Floyd Mayweather. But Oscar De La Hoya, although he's old and he hasn't fought for a very long time, let's not forget this guy was a boxer. And he was a world-class boxer. And when he fought Floyd Mayweather in his, near his prime, even though a lot of people thought Oscar was past his best, that was a split decision loss. Very, very close fight that could have gone either way. If that fight had gone in Oscar's favor, nobody would have been crying or complaining. That was a very, very close fight. That shows how good Oscar was. Oscar was a very, very good fighter. And I think part two, even at the age that they're at now and they're inactive and they haven't fought, I still think it would be huge. Because of, like I said earlier, they've got huge followings, they're huge names, they're legends, and people are intrigued by them. So I would like to see it. I don't know what you guys think. I wouldn't mind watching Oscar De La Hoya with Floyd Mayweather. I think it would be exciting. The build-up would be exciting, and the fight will potentially could be exciting as well. So leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think of Oscar De La Hoya's comeback. Who do you want Oscar De La Hoya to fight next? Who do you think he will fight next, or fight on July the 3rd on the pay-per-view? Remember, it's a pay-per-view event as well. Leave your thoughts. I'd love to know your opinions. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.